Welcome back to Long Box Diving.
And that is why pineapple belongs on pizza.
And we are here because it is our quickfire review. As you know, it was another new to you comic book day because there was no new comic books again. So we had to do another new to you comic book day. We did a new to you comic book day haul review, which we kind of showed a stack of books that we picked up. I am the old fogey. This is the young whippersnapper. So we actually picked a couple books each to read.
Hey, Spear from Captain Comics.
Hey, Spear, how you doing, man? How Captain? How you doing? This is what I picked up. This is what I read that I decided to review. Unfortunately for you guys, mostly it's X-Men. And the young whippersnapper picked up, which I read as well.
You know what? Yeah, that was
an interesting series that I actually saw on. I saw it on Twitter. Somebody mentioned a book called
Nailbiter. Oh no,
Nailbiter. I don't know if you guys have heard of this. It's weird.
Very much so.
So we're going to review this. Another interesting one that we read this week was something called Rat Queens. I read. He's not allowed to. So, all right. Why don't you pick a first book, and we will go ahead and review that and let you know what we think from the old fogey's point of view and from the young whippersnapper's point of view, what we thought of the book.
Let's start at number 4 because that's the first one we had.
Yeah. All I could find was 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 when I went to the LCS this week. But this is part of our new to you comic book day.
Now, I'm going to be honest. The first book did hook me. The fourth book did hook me. It started off in this lady. She was talking about her brother who went insane and started killing everyone. And I was like, well, this is interesting.
And he called it like a work of art. Yeah, see, look at this.
Yeah,
That was her brother. With the full face mask and the butcher's apron and the yellow gloves from under the sink and a drill.
Oh, so he deformed bodies.
Yeah, that was his work of art. Deforming bodies.
He called it his abstract face. So basically, this entire town has birthed 18 serial killers. 16
serial killers. All have come from this one town.
So it's became famous for this.
The Homo serial killers.
Serial killer boom, if you will. It only happens when they leave. They only go crazy once they leave. So like no one's leaving. Anyway, so the sheriff is trying to investigate like sheriffs do, and
there's a dude helping them.
An interrogator comes in who also has a history that we'll get in later.
There's a school-aged chick who's trying to investigate all this. They fall into a grave, and they fall through the grave, and they come into this prison cell thing, and they find
completely subterranean.
The FBI agent.
The previous interrogator.
Look at his lips.
Lips are sewn shut.
Oh, creepy. All right, so
it's very
what do you think? Rate it. No. Yeah, I won't show
that. Creepy. A 10.
So you 10 out of 10 for you?
No, it is the on the creepiness scale.
It is a creepy book. So what do you think of it?
Dark.
Did you like it? Would you recommend it?
Depends on if you like horror. If you don't, then no. But if you like horror, then yeah, it's a good horror book.
I think it's very caveated. You have to be able to be like horror books, creepy stuff. Guys eating fingernails when he kills people, just weird stuff.
Hence the name Nailbiter.
So if you're into that, if you like that, this was a pretty interesting book. Old fogey, not my style, but if you like that stuff, it would be a recommend.
Bendis is in the series. So.
We'll get to that.
Oh, that was funny.
All right, so I picked up this one to read this week. Uncanny X-Men 148. This is the first appearance of Caliban. Ooh. Now, it's pretty interesting because we have a Spider-Woman in here. She's acting as if she's part of the X-Men. Cyclops loses his glasses and then doesn't want to kiss the girl, which is, because he just lost Jean, I guess, and he's kind of moping around, which is understandable. He just lost the woman he loves. So they go. The women are out, and they have Spider-Woman as part of the team, apparently, which is kind of weird. And then Caliban comes out of nowhere and kidnaps Kitty Pryde, and then the women go after to save Kitty Pryde. So we got to watch that. And Caliban's like, I just found somebody that was like me. I just wanted to find somebody that was like me. And he did. He found Kitty, and then he realizes the rest of them were like him. And so that was pretty cool. Scott and this chick decide, hey, we're stuck on this tropical island, this island in the middle of nowhere, in the Bermuda Triangle. And maybe we can find somebody to help us. I don't know. He's lost his ruby quartz glasses, so he can't see. And then this dude that owns the island shows up. And Scott's like, hopefully he doesn't recognize who I am. Because that would be not be good.
Did that show the picture of Ben in a life jacket? Dude made of rock. No. Dude made of rock is in a life preserver.
Yeah, that's like the Hostess cake. Yeah. That's a Hostess, one of the old Hostess commercials. See, Ben's in a life preserver. But they're going
that
to
doesn't do much at all.
Oh, maybe it's an extra. I mean, come on, it's Fantastic Four. All right, so Old Fogey read it. Old Fogey would definitely recommend it. Old Fogey likes old X-Men. So First Person Caliban. This is a really good story. It was good to see the ladies work together. I don't know why Spider-Woman's there or whether she was an X-Men at the time. I don't remember. This was a little bit before I started collecting comics. So Dazzler was singing and everybody was doing pretty cool stuff. So I liked it. Definitely a recommend from the Old Fogey. All right. Young Whippersnapper.
Number 5. Nailbiter. Basically, they went deeper in the story of the teenage girl who's also investigating all of the serial killers and why.
That's her. Nailbiter number 5.
She also might be going insane because she's talking to Nailbiter, investigating him. That's also very creepy.
That's how it opens up.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's...
Now, we don't know who cut off his hand.
Or who sewed his lips shut. Keep going.
But anyway, they're going through, and these two teens from the town, teenage boys, they're just messing around, and they somehow get involved with this cult. It's very cult-esque. The entire town is kind of
weird.
And
that guy chops the dude with the hat, chops his head off.
I believe he's the mastermind behind everything.
Yeah, he seems to be the guy in charge because they're all asking questions. And then the nail-biter guy comes up and saves the cop and the black guy here. I don't think he's an investigator. He's just in town.
No, he's the interrogator.
Yeah, well,
he's the FBI interrogator. Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes.
He's in trouble.
Yes, because he killed someone while interrogating them.
Yes, he's in trouble. He's not there officially. He's unofficially there. He's not supposed to be there, but he's there. That's what I meant. Because they bring in another FBI agent, this lady, who says he's not supposed to be here.
Yeah, she's also very.
And then
stickler.
You see,
stickler.
She is obviously investigating the crimes. So not a lot of action in this.
No, that one was more story.
A lot of story, a lot of information kind of developed.
This book isn't really packed full of action. It's just intense.
So, Ray, what do you think?
So far, still good.
So far, so good. And I thought it was okay. I mean, it was a pretty good story. It was kind of, all these different pieces, right? So the guy with the big horns and the knives show up, and then Nailbiter jumps on his back and saves the cop.
This book was a setup for the next one. Because we were going deeper into the character of the teenage girl.
Yes. All right, and then
I read prominent in the next one. Anyway,
I read another X-Men comic.
Really
amazing, because I put them in order and then I read them in order. All right, so Uncanny X-Men 151. This was good. I mean, I enjoyed it. We get a little bit of Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde has to leave the X-Men because her parents want her to be around children her own age, so they decided to put her in Emma Frost's school, which is not good because you know who Emma Frost is, and Emma Frost was the White Queen, and Kitty was involved with saving the X-Men from the whole Hellfire Club thing, and the whole Dark Phoenix happened right after that. Oreo, Storm is really upset but she drives Kitty over to Emma's place, and Emma decides to shoot her with a ray gun. And when shooting her with a ray gun, she actually takes over. Let's see if I can find that. Where is it? I didn't see the shooting with a ray gun. I didn't see it the first time either. I must have missed it.
Huh.
But yeah, she shoots her with a ray gun, and she actually transfers mind. They don't actually show us that it happened, but they do show us Storm talking to Sebastian, which you're like, that's not normal. And then Storm wakes up, and she's the White Queen. And now she has the White Queen's powers, where the White Queen has Storm's powers, and they neither one really know how to control that correctly. So the White Queen goes to help Kitty and ends up shocking her brain and knocking her out. Storm sees that the X-Men are being attacked by Sentinels, which is Emma. And so Emma tries to help and ends up hitting Wolverine and knocking Wolverine out. And then she takes out the rest of the X-Men, ties them up, and brings them in for the Hellfire Club. Sebastian shows up. And then, as you see, she accidentally knocks out Kitty Pryde with a Cybolt. So good story. And I think it builds mostly to the next issue. So this was more of a foundational story. Really good. I mean, Chris Claremont doing his thing. This is fantastic stuff. So as an old fogey, I say recommend. As a young whippersnapper, he didn't read it.
X-Men's pretty good. Usually.
I honestly, up front, a little biased. Love X-Men.
A little.
So you can take most of my recommendations with a grain of salt because I'm probably going to say it's good. Probably because I like it. I like it a lot. Now I try to be unbiased, but I
look at things objectively.
I do try to look at things objectively. And like this cover.
Oh goodness. Number 6.
He's wearing a Hannibal Lecter mask as a baby. Can you imagine? Can you imagine putting your baby in that? Can you imagine me putting him in that? That'd be hilarious. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so there's this pregnant chick that comes to town in the middle of the night. Turns out she's been doing a bunch of research on the town, and she wants to give birth to this child in this town, so this child would become insane and
become a serial killer.
Everyone, become famous, and
make a lot of money.
And become famous, and by doing so, make the mom famous, so that the mom can write a book and go on tour.
Yep. And then she goes into labor in the town.
In the town.
The young girl, takes her to the doctor, and the lady does. You're trying to take my baby away from me.
So she's freaking out and saying everyone's trying to take her baby, like the others tried. So she runs away.
And she runs into some farm out in the middle of nowhere, right? So she's like out of this farm in the middle of nowhere. They find her, and she decides to go. I mean, she's in labor, right? So she has her baby there, right?
Yeah. But turns out when the detective and the girl came up to try to help her, she chased them across the border with them, 2x4.
So outside the town,
just barely.
And she had the baby outside the town, so the baby won't go crazy. But
hopefully,
the young girl with the red hair,
she might be going crazy.
She's going crazy. So,
the mom got mental health.
So
the most important part, mom's not going crazy.
So, young whippersnapper, what do you think?
Oh my word! This entire series has gotten. It's just the entire thing's dark.
Very dark.
It's kind of creepy. It's all creepy. So if you like that, please read this. It'll tickle your fancy.
Again, it was a good comic. It was well drawn. The story is very detailed and in depth, and it's got little
for something I've never heard of. It's not bad.
Twists and turns and things of that sort. So it's pretty good. It's really good to read. I mean, if you like horror. All right. So my next one, shockingly, is Uncanny X-Men.
It is
152. And we see Storm fighting the White Queen in the air. I think they're doing karate. Pilates. I don't know. She's wearing flats or heels. I don't know. They're fighting each other in the air. So basically, Storm figures out that they've swapped bodies. So now Storm's in Emma's bodies and Emma's in Storm's body.
Okay.
Kitty still doesn't know that, but Kitty is trusting that maybe that's her in Emma's body. She still doesn't trust Emma because of what the White Queen is, and the White Queen is a telepath, so she could figure out any test that she wants to give her. She could pass because she could just read it from Kitty's mind and figure out what the answer should be. So Kitty's really leery, but Sebastian Shaw's there. They capture the X-Men. They bring him into the room. They've got them all tied up and whatnot. They're beating the snot out of Wolverine because Wolverine did kind of lay it to those dudes, during the Hellfire Clubs and stuff. And then Wolverine fights with his mouth. It's like and he just goes after the dude.
Pharaoh.
They almost catch a Storm in White Queen's body, but again, Kitty's to the rescue and hits the emergency hatch and drops, her out of their hands and into the lower platform. Wolverine catches up with Kitty Pryde, and then it's funny. I mean, they turn the tables with Kitty's help. She unlatches them again. Almost the same thing that happened in the original story. Wolverine is fighting the dude. Why are you fighting? These guys are horrible people. And they're, well, last time we fought you, cut up a piece of our arm, and now we're robots. Wobots. And then, Cyclops learns that he can't shoot Sebastian directly, so he shoots other things and knocks it into him and hits him, and they finally knock him out. And then the White Queen and Storm are fighting in the sky, and they finally switch bodies back. And right here, zap! Zap was great. So they finally swap bodies, and everything's good. And then Wolverine can tell. He does that sniffing thing. Yeah, everything's fine. So this was good. Chris Claremont did the story. We have Bob McLeod as a guest penciler. The art was great. It was very, very detailed. A lot of good stuff in there. It was a great story. So again, I really enjoyed it. It was a good follow-up to this story over here with Kitty having to leave the school. And I think Kitty now is officially going to be back with the X-Men after her teacher tries to kill her. So I think that would be good enough for her parents to realize, I probably shouldn't go to that school. All right.
Speaking of guests, this book has Bendis in it. Brian Michael Bendis.
Guest starring Brian Mac. Now, don't be confused. Bendis is not guest starring as a penciler. Mm-hmm. He's not guest starring as a writer. Mm-hmm. But the scariest thing about this comic is Bendis.
In the comic.
He is in the comic.
No, that's some meta stuff right there.
Bendis is a comic writer in the comic, in an Image comic. And so he's there as a writer of Marvel Comics.
Dude's creepy. He's creeping outside the hospital room where the two FBI agents are talking.
He's like, walking, talking crime scene, not bad. Maybe you're practically a butcher with a badge.
That's better.
Even the writing's horrible. All right, and then he interviews everybody in town.
Couple birds.
And then we learn about another serial killer from the town.
So one of the people from the town that he investigated was actually a brother to the Whistler.
The Whistler held 10 people captive down in Florida and tortured them to death until one escaped and made it to a payphone. She said the victim said he used whistle while he worked as he butchered people. Creepy.
Now Bendis is like, oh, you can't blame yourself for what he did. It's not your fault. But then the guy's like, well,
I taught him
how to whistle.
And then the Nailbiter shows up, and this was hilarious. The Nailbiter shows up and goes,
the entire interaction.
Hey, we are exactly the same.
The entire interaction between Bendis and the Nailbiter was hilarious.
He's like, oh, wait. He goes, I don't know many single issues anymore, but most of my comics come in mail because, but digital has had my life a lot easier. Let me tell you, one of the comics at my fingertips 24/7. Bull. Just saying.
No.
I do not like digital.
No, take it. Only a serial killer
would buy
digital comics.
No, I did buy some digital stuff this week because I wanted to catch up on Rat Queens. But that's about all I ever buy it for. But yeah, the basically the serial killer buys digital comics. So he goes, Edward Charles Warren, the nail-biter, reads comics. I'm glad that isn't public knowledge. Wortham would be dancing in his grave. And then he goes on, he goes, you killed, he goes, this is the nail-biter talking to Bendis.
Bendis killed.
You killed Peter Parker and Alpha Flight and Ares and Scott Lang and Professor X and Jack of Hearts and the Wasp and Hawkeye, although you did bring him back. You even got to pull the trigger on poor Uncle Ben with his ultimate ponytail. Of all the people who were loved by others, created by others, have you never cried during a movie because the actions of characters or their deaths? Exactly. The point I'm trying to make is that I'm glad it's you writing a book about serial killers. You might have ink in your hands instead of blood, but you still know what it means to kill. He's so right.
Oh, it was funny. I was laughing
great.
all the way down the page.
Oh, it was hilarious. And then Bendis goes down and looks underground.
Bendis wants to be the big old investigator, so he goes into the graveyard, finds the grave that the detectives were digging in the fourth book, falls into climbs down into the hole, and then sees a bunch of paintings out of blood.
And then later on, he's at a signing, right? And then they go, whatever happened to that horror book you work on? What about serial killers? He goes, I got it. It got too dark. Not the kind of book I want to do right now. Then the guy goes, I think that's going to wrap up our question segments. He goes, love your writing. You make me want to write comics. Thank you. Brian, someone left a note for you. Who? They didn't say. I let you live in the caves, but y'all be watching you.
It's creepy.
What?
It's creepy.
And then we get a nice little epilogue with the guys, that helmet thing that they saw from the. So
turns out there's more paintings in blood, and some of them are older than the serial killers that were born.
Yep.
In Buckaroo. The town is named Buckaroo.
Buckaroo, the hometown of serial killers. So what'd you think?
Oh my word, it was hilarious.
That was a funny comic. It's a horror comic.
It was a great way to lighten the mood.
But I laughed so hard. Because it's so true. And they were trying to be serious. I really believe they were trying to be serious about it. But that was hilarious. I loved every second of it. All right, so recommend?
Yeah.
Again, another recommend. Okay. All right, so here we are with Uncanny X-Men. Again, Uncanny X-Men number 159. 159. All right, so this started out basically, they go to visit their friend, Misty, and only her roommate's there, where her roommate's the supermodel and stuff like that. So everybody's, Kitty Pryde's super happy. Then Storm goes out for a walk and she gets mugged. But at the same time, Alex is there with his dad and Polaris and
how dumb do you have to be to mug an X-Men?
They got her. They knocked her out. Now, the thing is, the guy who mugged her was Dracula. And so she gets back and she's like, she's not feeling good. And she's in the room and Kitty comes in and goes, what happened? Well, Storm was missing. We found her. She's not feeling good. And she walks in and she sees Storm has this bandana thing around her neck. And she goes, it was a gift from an admirer, but it has a stylized D on it. She goes, so you're not feeling good. You feel like you lost blood. You have a neck wound.
And a stylized D.
A stylized D. And then this dude shows up. Dracula. And so she decides to go all Van Helsing and come in dressed like Indiana Jones, holding a cross.
Okay.
And Dracula's like, little fool, you have outsmarted yourself. The cross has no power as such of you, as the welder must believe in it, and you do not, for you are Hebrew. And he goes to grab her neck. Now, she's a Jew, right? She's Jewish. And that's not been pointed out a lot throughout history, but she's just a Jewish girl. But he grabs her neck, and then the Star of David burns his hand. Because apparently the belief in the star is just as strong as the belief in the cross.
Just
the holy symbols, right? So he grabbed and Storm leaves with him. She smacks Kitty across the face like pimp slapper, man. Boom. And then they fly off together. Ooh. And the X-Men's like, oh no, Dracula's kidnapped Storm. So they go after her. They fight werewolves and they fight Dracula. And they create a cross, Kurt creates a cross, and that actually works because he's a Christian, right? He wanted to be a priest. Of course, later on he dies and goes to heaven, but we'll talk about that later. So Kitty comes in again dressed like Indiana Jones. I don't know what the deal is with Indiana Jones, but she ends up in a mental battle with Storm and convinces Storm to finally give up because Storm was never fully a vampire. She was just she was upset in her brain. She just wanted the power that the vampire was, Dracula was going to offer. So she ends up giving it up. She comes back to the X-Men and everything's great. And then Moira's like, I need everybody back to the island. Honestly, this felt more like a filler issue. It wasn't bad. The art was pretty good. It just didn't carry really a plot across in any way.
Connect much.
It was just an okay filler story. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't the best. It wasn't super fantastic, but it was okay. And then we learned that, the Star of David actually affects vampires as well, which I did not know. So that was a good thing I learned from comics. All right, your turn.
Yeah. Nailbiter number 8. On the cover has a beekeeper.
This, honestly, to me, looked like Candyman. I don't remember.
Yes.
I don't know if any of you have seen an old Candyman movie, but this looks like
Candyman is coming back.
I know they're remaking it, right? I remember the original Candyman. This looks like the Candyman, and that freaked me out because Candyman, the movie, freaked me out. It was a creepy movie. Candyman, didn't appear in the mirror with all the creepy. All right, go
ahead. So we open up on a man, or what we assume to be a man.
Cutting off bees' wings and pulling their stinger out.
Trying to find the secret.
The secret of what?
He didn't say. The secret of saving the town.
Now, his word bubbles, something that the kid pointed out, are very...
The young whippersnapper.
They're very hexagonal and almost look like honeycomb-ish, where everybody else's bubbles are circular like this. His are these weird shapes like that. So that was interesting, the way they did that.
I really enjoy the little hidden stuff. So the black FBI agent dude comes and starts talking to the man in the woods, who we believe is the man messing with the bees because he has a bunch of beehives in his yard. Yep.
And Warren is in the house doing creepy
finger paintings
with his blood. Now, that kind of matches all these other paintings that run around town. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, the detective and the nail biter used to date.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah.
All right, so then they go see priest, right? And the priest comes to Warren's house.
Yeah, the priest is like, Satan himself fell here, and his offspring is the reason.
Yeah. The offspring or the reason, and then the old man in the woods draws on the cop, and the cop outshoots him.
Yeah.
And shoots him in the leg. Now, honestly, the cop ain't going to aim for the leg, and if he hits the leg, he missed. Because he's probably aiming for the chest. That's what they're trained to do.
Yeah, but he's already in trouble for killing someone he interrogated before.
You can't believe you actually shot me. I've been known to lose my cool. Don't go down there, please. It ain't safe. And then he goes down there anyway. And then you hear, I'm bringing home a baby bumblebee. Won't my mom? And somebody's singing this, right? And then that dude, it looks like he's been stung 1 billion times and his face is all distorted.
And he's talking about the kamikaze the bees are doing because once they sting you, they die. So
now, wasp and hornets, that's a whole other story. In fact, the secrets is pheromones. When they're in danger, they alert others to come and help them. And the bees of Buckaroo have been in danger for years, and they're all scared. Their pheromones are in the air. Can't you smell it?
So it's an old dude going crazy, but serial killer crazy.
Get out! And all the bees. What? All right. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff.
So I have a feeling this is another leading up book.
Yeah, something's going to happen in book 9 that we don't have. So apparently I'm going to have to buy that.
So now that we've done most of this run.
Most of middle, right in the middle. 4 through 8, right in the middle of it.
It's great.
And it was enjoyable. So right in the middle, you can read it and go, okay, I get it. I get what's happening. So, to me, so far, if you like horror, it's definitely worth picking up.
If you're faint of heart.
So, Young Whippersnapper.
It's not for you if you're faint of heart. I can't stress this enough. It's not. It's an interesting book. It really is to me. I enjoy the weird stuff. That's been kind of fun for me.
Yes, it was definitely weird. So I
don't like horror movies. I like thrillers.
All right, so
and this has been very thriller.
The next book I picked up was Rat Queens. This is volume 2, I believe, number 8.
Are we men or are we mice?
Volume 1. Well, it's the first series, number 1. But it's in the volume 2 of the trade paperback. So, hey Slab Dragon, how you doing, man? Yes, we are on Instagram.
So yes, we are.
We are Longbox Dive or at Diving Longbox or something like that. I have to look.
You know what we should have? A business card.
A business card, yeah. Yeah, we are Longbox Diving.
So feel free to sub.
Yeah.
Or follow or whatever it is.
And you probably saw these on Instagram because I did put them out when I got the trade paperbacks. So I read volume 1, 2, and 3, which is like the first 15 comics. So I read them all. The first volume was really pretty good. It's about these 4 ladies. They call themselves the Rat Queens, and they caused a lot of problems in town trying to solve a mystery, and they ended up bringing all the orcs against the town, and then they stood with the town to defeat the orcs. Now, she is a mage whose parents are necromancers, and there's always a rumor that her daddy is not her daddy, a demon is. And underneath those little buns that she wears on her head are actually horns.
So she's the tiefling.
So she's a tiefling. This girl here is a dwarf.
Yeah.
And she's a warrior. And the first image we get of her in this book,
nice red beard.
And that was considered beautiful, right? She has made herself up. This was a special day.
In the Dwarven
world, that's supposed to be beautiful. She made herself up, but she's only supposed to be pretty, right? And then she meets this other lady here, that lady right there, who is a dwarf warrior who shaved her beard. And then she went out and fought. And she's like, oh, snap, I want to be like that. So she does. Of course, she doesn't shave her beard well. Her mom has to come and help her, which, again, the beard. And then, so this was kind of a throwback. So then you have this girl who is a priest of an old god.
Ooh.
She didn't believe the old gods exist. So she left home to try to figure out, she's like, I'm going to be an atheist because I don't believe this old god exists. I think it's not real. And during one of these volumes, another guy stole their high priest's mask, who has all the knowledge passed down from generation to generation of high priests. And the only way she could save everybody was by putting the mask on. And when she did, she got ultimate knowledge and realizes he is real. Their people were able to trap him, and now they're siphoning off of him. And if they ever were to stop siphoning his power, doing their magic, their healing spells, etc., he would have enough power to break free from the prison and destroy the world. His children were called, those big squid monsters were called out of the sky and almost destroyed the town. So she knows crap is bad. And then we have this little, she's halfling. I think of it more of a Kinder thing. She is a rogue. There's a point, right, that she goes and sees a gnome who is like this engineer, and he's building all this stuff. And she's like, I want that thing. And she buys a sled with it, and she buys a helmet. And then she gets her dwarf friend to ride with her, and they go down the hill in the snow, right? And they end up crashing into this cave, and then a big snow dragon pops out. Ooh. And the dwarf's like, dragon! And she takes a sword and a shield, and she goes to charge the dragon, and the dragon just blows ice at her, freezes her to the wall. And then he looks down, and the dragon comes down face to face with the little halfling here, and the halfling takes her dagger and goes, book, and pokes it in the nose. And the dragon's like, and she's like, don't eat me. And the dragon's like, can you just take this out of my nose, please? I don't like human flesh. It tastes like, he goes, I don't like killing humans. And they're like, why not? She goes, well, the same reason you don't want to kill a dog. Look at your eyes. The eyes. Nobody wants to eat adorable things with cute eyes. And then they go, they have like a huge mound of gold and stuff and jewels. And they're like, whoa. And he goes, oh, that's just the garbage. This is the good stuff. And it's like a huge pound of candy. And the little elfling girl here, like, I love you. And it's hilarious, right?
Oh my goodness.
It's great. It's humorous. It's very, very fantasy.
It's very fantasy.
It's very high fantasy. It's very women driven. The women are the heroes, and I'm fine with that. That's what it's designed to do. They got men in it. They're that cool too. But the women are the heroes of this book.
They look pretty kick butt.
The only problem I had is from volume 2. Volume 1 was okay for younger readers. Volume 2 was iffy for younger readers. Volume 3 was definitely not for younger readers. And it got progressively more hardcore in their themes and in what they drew and what they showed on the page. There's one thing to imply things are happening. It's another to show it happening. And then it's another to show full-on frontals of things. It's too adult even for me. I don't really necessarily like that. So I basically stopped. I'm not going to buy volume 4 because at the current rate, it's going to be a porn. So, but first volume and second volume was hilarious. It was great. Third volume was a little iffy. It was a good story, but again, I think it had a whole different writer, whole different creative team. So it kind of changed. The tone changed too, and I think the next volume actually has a different creative team as well. I'm not sure, but the first two was hilarious. Hey, Lots of Comics, how you doing, man?
What's up, man?
We're doing our new to you comic day review.
Some of this was new to us too.
This is all new to us. I haven't read these. I haven't read most of these. All right, so good. I mean, it was a good story. If you like fantasy and if you don't care about adult themes, it was good. It was really pretty good. If you know, so I'll leave it at that. I didn't let him read it. At first, I'm like, hey, read this. This is great. Volume 1. And then I got to volume 3. I'm like, nope, you can't read this. Don't even start. Because you're just going to want to know what happens. And then you can't. And that's even worse. So, nope, can't read it. So he had to read this instead. Go ahead. What's your next book?
Oh, it was this.
It was this.
This. Revolutionary War,
The Knights of Pendragon.
Pendragon.
Now, I did put this on Instagram as well. And I think you have to be British to even get it because I didn't get most of this. I didn't get what was going on. I didn't get what was happening. I'm like, thanks, Lots of Comics. Yeah, I like them to read comics, but I still have to be a father. And there's just certain things a 16-year-old's not ready for.
This was a good series, though. Nail biter.
Yeah, and there was
if you like horror,
there was no nudity, and you didn't see much murder. It was just little clips here and there.
You did see a guy biting his own finger till it bled.
Yeah, he bites his own fingernails too. So
that way.
But yeah, I think you have to be British to get this. The jokes in here didn't land.
Yeah, they were a bit pants.
Let's say I didn't get that one either. Ex-Knight of Pendragon, superhero with a penchant for flags, not Captain Britain, drives a hot Triumph motorcycle, not Welsh. Well, I know that was supposed to be a joke, but I don't know why not being Welsh is a joke. Pete Wisdom, secret agent of the M15, Essex, mutant, primary superpower, sarcasm, secondary superpower, can produce and throw hot knives. Definitely not Welsh. Di Thomas, Welsh. Ex-Knight, Pendragon, police officer, Welsh. Hates superheroes, occasionally possessed by the spirit of Sir Gawain, a medieval knight, Welsh. I didn't get any of that. I don't know why that was funny. But they end up going in to another land, and they're fighting a zombie King Arthur.
Yeah, I mean...
And then they're fighting a Green Knight. The Green Knight Gawain. It was this big tree thing. This big tree thing over here. That's supposed to be the Green Knight Gawain, a Green Knight or something. And then all of a sudden they bring in this dude. Why is there a guy in British running clothes? I don't know what's going on in this comic. And King Arthur seems to be afraid of him. So I don't.
We're Americans.
I don't get it. I'm not British. I didn't get this comic. I didn't find it funny. I didn't understand the premise, and I didn't get the joke. So I think you have to be British to get this comic. And if you're British, then maybe you can tell me if it's a recommend. Because I can't recommend it. I don't get it. You? The old fogey says nogi.
Oh my goodness. I'm not British in any way, so I didn't.
You
I was like you. I didn't get it at all.
All right, good. So it's not just me, because normally it's just the old man going, "Oh, no, what? It's not funny," and the young kid's like, "This is hilarious," and I'm like, "I don't get it."
What's that other book about King Arthur in the Round Table?
Once a Future.
Once in Future.
That's good.
That's
all right. The next one I read was Uncanny X-Men. Surprising. Number 163.
Really? You chose another X-Men book?
It was in the box right after the last one. I did pick up a lot of brand new X-Men here recently. So supporting my local comic book shop, they're selling all their back issues 75% off.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, I'm going to keep buying back issues because I want to support you. I was like, hey, if you want to charge me normal price, it's okay. I'll just get less. I don't want to feel like I'm taking advantage of you.
It's crazy, right?
They're like, no, 75% off is what we're doing. You're going to get that. So, and yes, Lost of Comics. I do like X-Men. It was one of the first comics. I bought Amazing Spider-Man was the first one. Uncanny X-Men was my second series I picked up. And I've liked Team Comics ever since. Now, in this, the Brood have the X-Men.
Ooh.
They've been manipulating Carol Danvers because she's not technically a mutant, but they kind of made her a mutant here.
Is she binary?
She becomes binary. That's the next comic. That's the first appearance of binary. But the Brood actually impregnated every one of the X-Men, except and even Wolverine. But Wolverine's healing powers were able to counteract the seed impregnate. It killed it off. Right? It's attached to their spines, so there's not much they can do about it. But they don't know yet. So the X-Men is in their dreams. They're fighting stuff. And finally, they're able to break free. Wolverine comes and saves them, breaks them all free, along with Carol Danvers. They get everybody, and it was great because they got Lilandra. The only way they can escape this planet is by getting to her, they call it Corvette, her limo, whatever it is up in space, her spaceship. So Storm grabs Nightcrawler and Kitty Pryde and flies them up into the upper atmosphere and throws Nightcrawler with Kitty Pryde. Nightcrawler teleports miles with Kitty to the hull of the ship. Kitty phases through while Nightcrawler is still outside. She has to fight a Brood off. She doesn't want to kill the Brood. Now, the Brood has been impregnating them and killing people. Wolverine's like, let us kill the Queen. And Cyclops is like, no, don't kill the Queen. We don't kill people. Not people. The Brood. They don't get that yet. Kitty's trying to, and so she's like ducking the thing, and it hits the door button and sucks the Brood out into space. And she grabs Nightcrawler, pulls him in, and then she goes and saves everybody else and brings them on again. Wolverine's like, we should have stayed and killed the Queen. And but I got something to tell you. Boom, something else happens, and it leads into the next story. So this was great. This was done by Chris Claremont. Dave Cockrum did the art. Beautiful.
So cliffhanger or spoilers here?
Cliffhanger.
Okay.
Cliffhanger. And then we go right into 164, which was the next comic I read. Because I read a lot more than him. Uncanny X-Men 164, the first appearance of Binary.
Wow. The art changed quick.
Yeah. And this one, this is Chris Claremont and Dave Cockrum. Again, the ship gets attacked by the Brood. They're trying to fight them off, but the engines gets disabled. And the only way to enable the engines is for Kitty has to go outside in a spacesuit and she's phasing through laser guns and this and that. She's got to phase through the hull and reconnect something. And then the engine is not powered. So Binary has to go into the engine room and just flip onto a binary star and power up the engine. Fantastic. Then we flip back to Xavier. We find out about Ilian Rasputin. Now, Ilian, between this comic and a few comics before, was like 7 years old, and then she got lost in limbo, and then she got brought back, and she's like 14 or 15 years old. Same age as Kitty Pryde. So she aged within moments in this limbo, and she's like, I can do stuff like my brother. And she has side shields, so Professor Xavier can't get into her brain. Binary comes out and saves Kitty, does the whole engine room thing. All that kind of stuff's going on. They're still fighting the Brood. Man, look at this. She powers the whole ship up, and they're able to finally get Yeah, literally lost in comics. It's true. I read so much. And then,
Oh my goodness.
Storm realizes she's pregnant, and it really pisses her off. And she throws Cyclops out of the room and slams the door shut. And they're like, what is wrong with Storm? She's pregnant. And Wolverine's like, well, there's something I need to tell you guys. Y'all pregnant. All of you. Cyclops, you two, you're pregnant. Colossus, you're pregnant. Nightcrawler, you're pregnant. Kitty, sorry, babe, you're pregnant. And Binary, you're pregnant. You're all pregnant.
I can imagine Colossus.
Binary, everybody else is like, oh, no. Binary. Oh, Storm shut everybody out. How? Binary, get pissed. And she flies out to destroy, the queen. She's like, and Colossus is like, I told you should have killed the queen. You didn't listen to me. And now we're all pregnant, except for me, because I'm the only one not pregnant. You all are pregnant. Y'all gonna have babies, little brood babies. Of course,
Wolverine would be the only one not pregnant.
Well, he was pretty messed up there for a while, but his healing factor is able to fight through it. And then we get to the last one I read. The last one we'll review today. I know it's a lot. Sorry, guys. A lot of X-Men. Uncanny X-Men 168. Now, this is the first appearance of Madeline Pryor. Madeline Pryor, not Kitty Pryde, not Madeline Pride. Madeline Pryor.
Madeline Pride.
And so basically, Kitty's like, Professor X is a jerk. Why? Because, she's a teenager and he won't let her do what she wants to do. Basically, it comes out. She's tried everything to manipulate him. She's tried being nice. She's tried being helpful, trying this. None of it's working. And then, Kitty or Nightcrawler's got himself a girlfriend. And she is a magic user, by the way. Not good yet, but she is a magic user. And so this is more like a fill-in issue. Kitty goes downstairs to do what she wants to do, and she gets attacked by this robot. And she gets laser beamed, and Lockheed's there. A lot of great stuff there. And Colossus comes and saves her tail, and then she has to apologize. I'm sorry, Professor. I was a bad girl. And then Cyclops decides to go to Alaska, and he flies in, and this chick meets him. Welcome to Alaska. And she looks just like Jean Grey. Cyclops is in trouble.
I think Cyclops would really enjoy having a Madeline Pride.
Madeline Pryor?
Madeline Pride.
No. Well, he got with Madeline.
I know.
But at the same time, just a few days before, I don't know if this is the same chick, but he's on the beach with that chick. Now, I don't know if this is the same chick he got lost on the island with, where he lost his glasses and she had lost most of her clothes, and they met Magneto, and she wanted to kiss him because she wanted comfort, and he's like, I just lost my woman, I can't kiss you. I don't know if that's the same chick as that, but he seems to move pretty quick. Her name is Lee, I believe. I don't know. It may be the same girl, but he seems to move along pretty quick. And then of course he meets Madeline Pryor at the end, and that's it. He goes, have I gone mad? But Dad and Alex sees it too. Her voice, her face, it can't be possible. And she's like, welcome to Alaska. And that he gets suckered. It's done. It's over.
Yeah, he's screwed, and that's how Cable was made.
And that's how Cable was made. All right, so that was our review for the week. So far, mine.
Bunch of X-Men.
All of them fantastic. Rat Queens was good up to volume 2. Careful with 3. It's very adult. Very adult. 2, it has some adult stuff in it too. She's like, stop trying to use my sexy dreams against me. And then these are what the young whippersnapper read, which I read as well. If you like horror, fantastic. I would recommend not starting in the middle.
Horror. It's more intense.
It's not. Yeah, it's not really horror. It's not like blood and guts, and it's
not
more
like Saw. It's not Saw.
It's not Saw. It's intense. It's like, what is going on?
It's like murder mystery.
It's a murder mystery. Round 16 serial killers, all coming from the same town. They go crazy when they leave, but they seem to be fun when they're home. When they were home.
This would be a great Netflix documentary.
This would be a good Netflix show. Now, again, don't start in the middle, but you could and pick it up, and it reads well.
I started before, and it wasn't bad.
So good.
British humor.
Yeah, completely British humor.
All of it. All of it.
If you're British, you might get it, and if you are and you read it, let me know.
Yeah, please.
That way, I know if it was funny.
So we're not out of the loop.
I have no idea. So that's
I'm
our
not Welsh.
I'm not Welsh. All right, so that was our quickfire reviews for the week. Our new to you or new to us comic book day review, because there's no new comic books, so we're going to review some older comic books that maybe you haven't read, we haven't read, and haven't read in a long time. We're going to read them again, let you know what we think. Old fogey, young whippersnapper, and we'll let you know what we think. And so I appreciate everybody that joined us. Superhero Review, Captain Comics, TJ Slabdragon, and Lost in Comics. Thanks, guys, for joining us, and we'll see you next time here in the Long Box.
Now for some fish and chips.